Good afternoon. Some deputations and individuals have yet to arrive, but I think we'd better start the second session of today's meeting. This is the meeting of the Bills Committee on the Private Columbaria Bill. We are meeting deputations and individuals to listen to their views. I want to say that in front of you, there is a microphone and an earpiece. So if you wear the earpiece, there will be amplification effect. Channel 0 is the floor channel, channel 1 Cantonese, channel 2 English, channel 3 Putonghua.
Now, in a short while, I will let you speak in the order on the list, and you can speak in that order. You will have 3 minutes each. Some of you have supplied written submissions, so you can highlight your main points and share them with the members within the 3 minutes. If you exceed the 3 minutes, I will stop your speech. I remind you that your speeches will not be subject to the protection and exemptions under 38.2 of the LegCo Powers and Privileges Ordinance. Now, I also remind you that there are security measures in the letters issued to you, and there are also notices on the table in front of you. We hope that those in the audience gallery will also abide by these rules. Now, some deputations have not yet arrived. Now, if they inform me of the order, I will the ranking. I will or the order. I will let them speak. Otherwise, they will speak at the end. Mr. Chen Ping-chung, I don't have anything to say. Chen Ping-chung, nothing to say. Madam Chung Yok-sing, now I am elderly. Let me ask, why do you let them apply for these Columbaria? They are close to residences. I live on the hillside, near the hillside. They are allowed to set up Columbaria there. Those who live at the hillside, some of us are well-to-do, some are not. The government allows them to acquire these buildings and turn them into Columbaria. The town planning board allows them to operate there, so the public suffers. Now, why is there this shortage? Many poor members of the public cannot afford these private niches. Why doesn't the government build more public niches for the poor people. I will not have my ashes stored there. I prefer that my ashes be cast into the sea. Now, you should let these ashes be scattered in the sea or in memorial gardens. The government should educate the public. Why doesn't the government do that? Why do you cause trouble to us residents? Those who are rich get richer. I'm sorry, maybe I put it in too strong terms. Some have of the deputations have brought some placards. Please put them away. They are not related to the issue today. The policies government policies are certainly biased against people's livelihood. Please put away these placards and signs. They do not have to do with the niches. We think the niches policy has to do with the democratic system. The council is part of this undemocratic system. The consortia are the ones who benefit. We think this has to do with people's livelihood. Once again, I ask you to put them away, otherwise I would have to ask you to leave. Today's hearing is concerning the private Columbaria bill. I do not want to debate with you further. Don't you support genuine universal suffrage? If you do not put away your placard, I will ask you to leave. Well, we may not see eye to eye on political issues, but perhaps we can listen to them to see how they justify themselves. If they've come all the way, but your ruling may force them to leave, perhaps you can remind these people to stick to the issues concerned. If they want to display slogans that are related to the issues, perhaps they can explain. Chairman, I think Leshko has invited the public to air their views. Now, it's very difficult to judge whether they are going to speak in relation to the issue before you hear them. So, unless you are able to determine right now that the private Columbarium bill is necessarily related to the true democracy. Can you tell me how the relationship is? No. Unless you can determine otherwise, you cannot make the ruling that what they say is unrelated? How do you know what they're going to say? Is the legislature democratic? Now, how is that related to Columbaria? I would like to hear that. I hope the members the deputations can explain. Chen Yunhan. The speaker is not. I respect your stance. I also understand your dissatisfaction, but I hope you can stick to the issue, because I have to attend another meeting on copyright. Now, if I am a committee chairman, I would hope that the speakers stick to the topic of the committee. We should respect each other. We understand your grounds or your stance. We should respect each other. We should not be at loggerheads with each other. I was also chairman of committees. Now, we do not think that the signs displayed should be very large, etc. If we are very highly adopt a very strong posture against each other, I think that is not respectful to each other. Now, I've heard the members. Now, as chairman, I hope to follow the rules of procedure. Now, in these meetings, if people want to display signs, they must be related to the meeting. Now, up to now, I have no reason to believe that the two deputation members have displayed signs that are closely related to the topic of the meeting. Now, my judgment or my determination is that I do not see how the placards or signs are closely related to the private Columbaria. I can't say there is absolutely no relationship. You can always provide some grounds that are rather distantly related, but which are indeed, in fact, not justified. So I ask you to put away the signs, otherwise I will ask you to leave. That's my decision. Please consider that. If you do not accept, you may have to leave. I propose a compromise for you to consider. They want to express their views to the officials. If you get them to leave, that is regrettable. Now, they can display the sign where they, when they come to the point where that sign is related to the contents. That will not be against the rules of procedure, and that may be a compromise approach. so you do not have to ask the two to leave. Thank you, but I have made a ruling. I will not further discuss that. Now, if you display the sign at the point where it's related to the content, you can do that, but please put away the signs right now. Otherwise, I will ask you to leave. We want to talk about how this is related to universal suffrage. So please put away the signs. Next, who is the next speaker? Next, Mr. Lau Yok Yin. Please speak. Mr. Lau Yok Yin, it's my turn. It's okay. I would like to ask members to declare the interest. Now, why do niches arise? Because there's a lot of money to be made. I think there is collaboration between the officials and the business people. So those who are consultants to the trade, those etc., should declare their interests in an exhaustive manner, include the interests of the family members, etc., should also be declared. We asked the chairman to deal with this.
同埋呢個避免法律責任書咧有效。
And concerning the TSOL, it can be valid for 3 years, and I think that's too long a period. I understand that there are 5 main areas involved, including fire services, town planning, lands, buildings. But then the consultation period was too long. In December 2012, Columbaria, which breached the relevant regulations, were included in Schedule 2. And the second consultation document stated that licenses could be issued only if the laws in the 5 areas were not breached. So how come we have illegal Columbaria still operating? In fact, I think operators should have applied to the town planning board first before the Columbaria start operation. Now, this is a long-standing problem. Different government departments have been passing the buck to each other. Paper offerings are burned, religious rituals are carried out, and all these do affect people's livelihood. In fact, we understand that 20% of the illegal Columbaria have applied for change of land use zoning. I think public Columbaria are preferable to private Columbaria. Thank you. Next, we have Mrs. Ho Fu Chan Ha. Chairman. Columbaria do affect people's livelihood. Now, there is a Columbarium in Sha Tin which affects the environment and the and the traffic. Ours is a small village. The area is small, and there are lots of bends along the roads, and near Qingming Festival and Chongyang Festival, villagers are not allowed to drive. So it's really very inconvenient for us. And they are now applying for change of land use, and I understand that they are expanding. So I just want to know how we can prevent them from further expanding their scale of operation. The file, we have the file number TPB Y ST28. This is an application to change the land use zoning from Greenbelt to GIC. In fact, approval has not been given. Their applications have been rejected time and again, and they keep on submitting new applications. I would like to know when the hardship brought to us will end. Next, we have Mrs. Sin Market Ching. Thank you, Chairman. I live in Sha Tin, To Fong Shan. In fact, it is an illegal Columbarium, but then no enforcement action has been taken by the government. And yesterday they submitted another new application. I think officials and electoral members should pay a site visit there to look at how narrow the roads are. Because we are worried that if we do not raise any objection before the deadline, the application may be approved. Now, you are paid to do your job. You are government officials. You are electoral members. You have to look at whether the proposal is suitable. Do you agree, Chairman? It's irresponsible not to do anything about the situation. In fact, we are very busy. We don't want to come, but we have to come today to urge you and government officials to take rigorous follow-up action. Now, look at the road there. The use is not suitable. Nothing has changed. Why is it that you keep allowing them to submit new applications? Now, if the situation has changed, then they may have a case. So how come they are continuously putting in new applications? In fact, I've already urged officials to pay a site visit. We have no alternatives but to speak out. Please really act for our interests. Come and have a look. Look at the road. It's very narrow. There is no pavement. And how come an application for change of land use can be entertained? Come and have a look. We have been putting down signatures. We have been printing pamphlets. It's really a great nuisance to us. Is it that we have to take to the streets? Now, we have already told you what we want. So please take care of our interests. We are not unreasonable people. But then nothing has changed. How come you keep on entertaining their applications and officials get paid for their for the work they do? So they should have come and have a look. They should come and have a look. In fact, we are suffering. We do not want to go on like this. Thank you. Mr. Chair. Chairman. Now, in fact, a lot of interests are involved in the business of operating private columbaria. In LegCo, there are LegCo members from different sectors, and I understand that there has been a lot of collusion between the government and businessmen. And so we want all members to declare their interest. I understand that there is an interest declaration system applicable to LegCo members, but then the system is not really a very vigorous one. I think the interests of LegCo members and their family members should be declared. In fact, we've prepared a declaration form for the chairman and members of the Bills Committee. And also, chairman. Now, in fact, we only have 5 members present. This is a hearing of the Bills Committee to listen to the views of the public. And in fact, we should have had over 20 members. And chairman, people have accused you of having a conflict of interest, but still you insist that you'll take up the chairmanship. And you are a functional constituency member. So we are of the view that without a democratic system, we can't have effective and sound policies to protect people's livelihood. So that's why we really want to have genuine universal suffrage. And then I've got 2 points. First of all, exemptions. Concerning grandfathering or exemptions for pre-1990 premises, I think this is not acceptable. I understand that there are organizations operating traditional temples, but then I understand that some operators are operating Columbaria under the guise of temples. So the premises must be pre-1990 premises, and the number of niches must not exceed 1,000. And these Columbaria must not be within 500 meters from residential development. They must not be illegally occupying government land. And I think for these traditional temples, there should be some exemption and relaxation. Mr. Ho Chak Wai? Yes. I live in a Henderson development in Tuen Mun. I think the bill hasn't taken into account those living near Columbaria. Nothing is proposed to minimize the nuisance caused to nearby residents. You're only proposing to regularize certain Columbaria. I don't think we can have one or 2 systems for Columbaria in Hong Kong. A lot of illegal Columbaria were formed after 1990. Look at Yin Hing Temple or Sai Lam Temple in Sha Tin. They were developed in the name of temples. So I think this bill will only serve to protect the interests of operators of illegal Columbaria. Secondly, there can't be exemption across the board for all types of Columbaria, irrespective of the extent of irregularity. Now, in 2006, there was illegal occupation of government land with regard to the Columbarium right next to our development. And during the grave sweeping seasons, the grave speed, those who went to respect their ancestors, and we have to share the road. So I don't think there should be exemption across the board. We have to look at the extent of irregularity. And the Bureau in the report talks about what premises mean. It is said that in fact, for premises applying for exemption, no niches can be sold in the interim. But then for the Columbarium, next to our development, exemption was applied for the basement, but then at the same time, niches could be sold on for the other parts of the Columbarium. I don't think the Bureau should play with words. You should take care of our interests. How can we have confidence in the Bureau? How can we be confident that the Bureau will enforce the future legislation rigorously? I think we just want to be able to lead a happy and peaceful life, and the government must not side with illegal Columbaria. Ms. Ko, yes, I want to talk about Y/ST28. This Columbarium is right at the top of To Fung Shan. The land use zoning is green belt. And now they are proposing to change the land use zoning to GIC. The road is very narrow. There are a lot of hikers, on holidays there are families going there for hiking, and that area commands a panoramic view of the territory, and the quality of the water in the catchment area is first class. Do you know that in fact the water from Dongjiang River is polluted, but then the water in this catchment area is of very high quality. But then there is this Columbarium, and it pollutes the environment.
And with the Columbarium there, many people go up, and the whole place is polluted, and the road has many bends, and is narrow and is dangerous. And at the Chongyang and Qingming festivals, the staff of that institution stop people going up, and the taxis have to wait there, and questions have to be answered. People returning home are questioned by policemen. The roads are narrow. Transport Department says 100 vehicles can travel on the road. That's not possible. At these festivals, so the villagers have been greatly troubled, contrary to what they say. And the single niches, number 6,396, and the ash niches, over 8,000, and if you give them these permits or license, then the situation will get even worse. Thank you, Ms. Ko. Next, Mr. Paul Lau. According to the bill, new operators must be land owners of the land, but there are areas that are not clear in the bill. It doesn't state whether loans can be borrowed from the bank under mortgages. So they don't operate, they don't actually own the land, but people pay money and they can go up. So does the bill prevent that? Now, this Columbarium business is a service lasting lifetimes. So after a period of time, who will be responsible? And we think that mortgages should not be allowed. Now, the threshold should be raised. Those who already died will have no say, so those who are living do not want their ancestors' ashes to be moved around. So we have to speak out. Now, the Columbaria in Schedule 2, many of them are in this category. We can supply the information there later. Now, some of the infringing Columbaria are managed by trustees of ancestral halls. Now, who is actually monitoring these ancestral halls? Like Phật Yuan Ching Trúc Lâm Ji, Castle Peak Monastery. It's a Bank of East Asia trustee. So how can we ensure that ownership will not be changed frequently? I think there has to be close regulation on who is the manager. My throat is sore today. Can I ask my companion to read this out? Now, I read this out on behalf of Chair Shing-kong. Now, a government elected by genuine universal suffrage will take care of the handling of ashes of the poor. So genuine universal suffrage is a related principle, and a chief executive elected under genuine universal suffrage will not allow these operators to charge $300 every month from the descendants of the deceased. I think a CE elected by genuine universal suffrage will not allow a fee such as high as $300. It will be cheaper. Such a CE will tell the public that after he dies, his ashes will be scattered into the sea instead of put in a niche, because the niches take up land. The CE elected by genuine universal suffrage will champion green burial and direct his officials to come up with a policy that meets the needs of the public more closely. Now, the private niches are many times the number of public niches which charge only $2,900 odd. Now, I think this has definitely to do with the welfare of the low-income people, as referred to by the CE, Mr. Leung. Next, Mr. Yam of Kowloon City District Council. Now, we should note the relationship between these operators and some developers. Now, I think it's mainly the members elected by geographic constituencies who are more sympathetic to our views. So I think universal suffrage is related to the issue. Now, I think the exemptions under the bill are very regrettable. Now, I'd like to thank the member who is from the trade. He should understand that in residential areas, niches should not be located there. Now, the government under this bill merely regulates these operators by administrative measures. Now, the government merely says there's a 3-year limitation and there are no further regulations. Now, right now, the government is exempting the 81 undertakers, and that is unfair. Now, the bill, I feel, merely regulates the upstream market, whereas the undertakers and burial brokers are those who interact with the public. So the bill might merely regulate the upstream operators and family members of the deceased may sign contracts under unfair conditions, and so there is no safeguard on the on these contracts. There is should be assurance of proper regulation. So these are so-called property brokers of the deceased. They should be regulated. Now, in July, I wrote a letter to Mr. Cole, the Secretary of Food and Health. He hasn't responded. I don't know whether I can lodge a complaint. Now, Mr. Yam, your time is up. Next, Mr. Chung. Mr. Chesai Kit, please lay down the sign you're holding. If you, otherwise, I will ask you to leave. Mr. Chung, no. The next, Miss Kitty Fong. First, I like to say that genuine universal suffrage is absolutely related to the subject of this meeting. Now, I am a consumer. I earn less than $14,000. If if we have genuine universal suffrage, we will benefit because there will be no more collaboration between the government and the rich. Now, these are illicit operators who want to make fast money. That includes those who already exist in 1990 but developed rapidly after 2000. So there is a window in time in which they were able to profit. Now, if these operators fold up, then the consumers will end up with nothing. Now, that includes persons like me. Now, according to CAP 362, which is supposed to deter the malpractices towards consumers, including false trade descriptions, misleading omissions, intimidating business behavior, illicit, improper advertisements, improper acceptance of funds. Now, these 6 offenses, now in our alliance, feels that these trade practices we are talking about may have been infringing. Like me, I have purchased the niches at明月山. They told us that they provide 100% assurance, but after the Court of Appeal has made its ruling, the operators sold their interest to a businessman called Chan Wai-kok, and they said that we could receive refunds. However, people have lost contact with the new boss, who may have absconded. The明月山consumers have not received a single penny in compensation. Now, other Columbaria claim that the funds were donations and not payments. Next, Ms. Wong.
I hope that the bill can be passed as early as possible. I'm worried that the Columbaria may sell a lot of niches to consumers in the interim. And I think all the members of this Bills Committee can fill in an interest declaration form in order to allay the concerns and worries of the public. Next, we have Mr. Chang. Chairman, thank you. I live near Kowloon Temple. This temple has been causing nuisance to us for over a decade. And the government keeps dragging its feet. And that's because we don't have democracy, and also it's because we don't have universal suffrage, and as a result, the government is not properly monitored. I think the government is dragging its feet, and then the We don't know when the bill can be passed, and we are suffering, and they keep applying, we keep objecting. I think it's really a nuisance to us. And look at Kowloon Temple. It is operating illegally, and you're not doing anything about this, and you are allowing them to apply for a legal status. I think you should take enforcement action against illegal acts. How can you expect us to find the situation bearable? We living just next door to Kowloon Temple, and I think your approach is totally unacceptable. And I think you must take action against illegal operations. Thank you. Next, we have Mr. Chung. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chung. Chairman, I've been involved in the planning and the operation of Columbaria, and now I am sharing with you my views as the convener of Doctoral Exchange. I think I support a licensing system that can boost the confidence of consumers. Increasing the supply of niches can meet the long-term needs of society. In fact, we have 5 points to make. First of all, the details of regulation must be perfected. Second, the scope of regulation should be expanded. And also, there should be enhanced publicity and public education so that the public know the risks involved in buying niches during this period before the bill is passed. And then I hope that for this industry, there can be healthy development in the long run. I think concerning the contracts for interment of ashes, these terms must be perfected. Now say what is going to happen after the 50-year period. So will the those who have bought niches, will they have to buy the niches again after the expiry of the 50-year period? And I think we must try to protect the interests of the consumers. And then second, concerning operations to store the ashes of animals, they should also be covered by this bill. And then third, I think applications for licenses can be made, or I understand that licenses can be applied for only a few months after the passage of the bill, and as a result there will be a vacuum period. And I think as soon as the bill is passed, the FEHD should start receiving applications for Columbaria. And then we understand that many members of the public do not really understand the risks. They do not understand the arrangements proposed in the bill, and so I think enhanced publicity and public education is important. Next, we have Madam Leung. Yes. Good afternoon, Chairman. I want to talk about the harms caused by unlawful Columbaria. Now, in 1997, I moved into a residential development, and there was a Columbarium next door. And in fact, they operate or they have been operating illegally. And I want to say that we are now the neighbors of this unlawful or illegal Columbarium. There are lots of problems, illegal parking, and as a result, a lot of police officers have to be deployed to to ask the drivers to go away. And then concerning burning of paper offerings, a lot of ashes are created, and also the bells, the gongs, the saying of prayers cause a lot of noise nuisance. And on one occasion, the gongs on the bells were sounded at 3 a.m. And as a result, we have to keep our windows closed. I live on the top floor, and on the rooftop, there are a lot of ashes, and I want to say that I feel very disturbed. So it's an illegal operation, and I understand that fines have been imposed on them on 2 occasions, but then they haven't stopped their irregularities. They keep expanding. They sell niches in an illegal manner. And so I want to urge Bills Committee members to declare interest, and also please act as gatekeepers for law-abiding citizens like us. Please ask enforcement departments to take enforcement action. And I really hope that we will be able to live peacefully here. Mrs. Leung. Yes, good afternoon. I also live in this residential development. In the past 2 years, over 20% of the illegal Columbaria applied for change of land use zoning. And these Columbaria operators can apply again and again, although their applications have been rejected time and again. Look at Kwok-tung Temple in Chun Mun, for example. And then there are some Columbaria which do not submit any applications for change of land use. They keep on operating illegally. And I want to say that for Tai Po, there is also a similar Columbarium. And it's an illegal Columbarium. If approval is given, then during the grave sweeping seasons, there will be a lot of people, a lot of vehicles, and as a result, our daily lives will be affected. Thank you. Yes, Ms. Liu. Yes, Chairman, members. I want to say that it's good that there is a licensing regime and a piece of legislation to regulate Columbaria. But then I think the content is not clear enough. Now for Columbaria and dishes occupied before the 1st of January 1990, they can be exempted or grandfathered. But I think it's important that they comply with town planning laws. I think for those who have committed criminal offences, they can't be regarded as not guilty, although the crime committed took place a long time ago. And then there is the TSOL arrangement. But I think it's important that certificates be issued only if land leases are not breached. We do not want to see irregularities continuing. I understand that one Columbarium has applied many times in over the past few years. The Town Planning Board has said that there have not been any changes in the circumstances, but that in August or September this year, the application was submitted again. But then the Town Planning Board still has to accept repeated applications from the Columbarium.
As the CE said, we should not turn something illegal into legal. Now, the administration should support the Town Planning Board decisions. The decision should be upheld. The operators should not be allowed to apply 20 or 30 times. The administration should make a lot of niches, public niches available for people to apply to. And because there is possible conflict of interest, please declare your interest and please act fairly. Thank you, Ms. Liu. I believe we have Ms. Ng Sut Fong. It's very difficult for people to purchase homes. It takes the savings of a few generations, and they hope to be able to stay happily in their homes. When we moved into Sanfeng, development, we learned that this Columbarium is in fact so near, so close to us. The burning of incense, all the noises from the services offered are a big nuisance to us. The government should not allow them to keep extending the operations over time, to prevent them from renewing their operations. The deputations and individuals have spoken, and now I would like to see if members have comments. We have Tony Chair, Helena Wong, Leung Kwok-tung, Chen Ka-lok, Vice Chairman. 5 minutes. First, I'd like to thank the deputations. Now, one of the questions raised concern the existing niches, which may not comply with town planning and land use regulations. Now, more than one representative has raised the question. Now, when these operators are applying for a license, will the government action be suspended And would it be possible to increase the number of niches during this interim period? I'd like to hear from the officials. Anyone? Suspension of what? Suspension of law enforcement. Now, after the bill comes into effect, then they might have applied for temporary suspension of liability, and in that period, they may apply for license and exemption, and they cannot sell new niches. Now, if they apply for exemption, they will not be able to sell new niches from June 18, and they apply for and in any case they will not be able to apply from the commencement. Now, now, if they are able to get a license, they can sell niches. If they do not receive a license or exemption or TSOL, then if they operate without license, the FEHD can take law enforcement action. Now, of course, regulation of sale is an issue. Now, people, the commentators have said that they keep selling the niches. Now, some residents say that they tolerate the existing operations, but actually the operators keep selling more niches, and the government may have facilitated that. Now, actually, we haven't facilitated them. All along, we launched a lot of publicity for consumers, and we urged consumers to be careful. We spread this message through radio and TV. Town planning and land department regulations have to be complied with. Now, if the license is not obtained, consumers must know how their interests could be protected in such a case. Now, we ask whether shorter-term leases can be considered, and we ask whether how consumers' interests can be protected. Now, it seems that residents from Sha Tin or Sin Phong Garden have spoken in this connection. Maybe Mr. Chung can tell us. Maybe your impression is that illicit sale of niches have continued in this interim period. Now, for Sin Phong Garden, the situation, as I understand it from a previous district councillor, is that prior to 1997, there were only 300-odd niches. But now, according to Land Department and Development Bureau, there are already 7,300 niches. Now, the operator declares that it has sold 2,000, and it is still applying repeatedly. Now, the Town Planning Board has been strict in its gatekeeping, but despite the illicit nature as confirmed by Lands Department and so on, and the buildings department got them to demolish the illegal structures, and then they built another new one, an even bigger one, and we dare not go up there to see. Now they applied for 8,000 because they have been failed to comply with government regulations. We don't believe them, and it's a green belt that they shouldn't destroy this green belt because there are no more squirrels there. Now, just now, Ms. Diane Wong of PAS for Food and Health has spoken. Now we have also with us Mr. Christopher Wong, Deputy Secretary of Food and Health, Ms. Phyllis Cole, Senior Assistant Law Draftsman. We have Ms. Cindy Chuck, Government Counsel, Mr. Thomas Leung, Assistant Director of Buildings Department, Ms. Chu Lan Ying, Assistant Director of FEHD, and also Ms. Olga Lam of Lands Administration, and Christine Chair of Planning Department. Ms. Helena Wong. Now, several speakers mentioned the declaration of interest of the Bills Committee. They may suspect that in the process of scrutiny of the bill, members might have been involved in the operation of illicit Columbaria. So the members might have been biased accordingly because they operate such businesses. Now, will the chairman ask all the members of the committee to declare their interest? Now, I first declared that I do not operate any such columbarium. Ms. Wong, now Rules of Procedure 3 and 84 all make clear that members must declare their interest in the meetings where they are members, and you are well aware that members have to abide by these rules, and if their interests have not been declared, the members would have to bear legal responsibility. Now, our meeting today is to listen to the deputations. The declarations of interest would be left to the members. I already declared at the first meeting that I am an advisor to a directors meeting for a religious group. Now they have a premises where there are ashes stored, but they will no longer engage in sales in this regard. Now I have not been involved in the management, and so there is no conflict of interest. Now I'd like to ask just now concerning Kek Lok Temple in Tuen Mun. Speakers asked whether at the basement and at the temple above ground, whether there are different arrangements. Now, last time, now I noted that if the bill is passed with regard to明月山莊and Kek Lok Temple and Zhonghua institution, now will the bill be helpful versus these illicit operations? Now the illegal structures. Now, what does the building department plan to do about them? How will the passage of the bill help these people? Or will there be no help? Now, concerning the buildings department arrangement, there are provisions in the bill. Now, the buildings department can supplement to what I say. Now, under the bill, now the operators of private Columbaria have to abide by certain regulations about building safety as provided in the bill. There will be guidelines issued by the buildings department to the operators. Now, we will be glad to share them with members when they are available. Now, some members mentioned for some niches, the operators apply for both exemption and license. Now, on 30th of June, we already explained the situation by press release. Now, in the future, the licensing board, when the board looks at the exemption applications, it will ensure that the plans will not be too large and must meet with the buildings department requirements, and the number of niches have been frozen. Now, members are concerned that they keep applying they will again apply for license, but that's not easy. The premises must be separate, and they have to meet from town planning and building safety regulations, and also other building use regulations. And the process will also involve seeking comments from the public, so it's not easy to get a license. Now, the licensing board, if it's not an exemption but a license that's being applied for, the board will apply conditions that the applicant has to meet.
Yes, I thank Ms. Wong for her reply. Now, you told us that a license would be issued only with the approval of all relevant departments. I want to know whether all the existing irregularities we see can't be dealt with by the bill. Mr. Leung Kwok-tung, I think it's important that there is credibility on the part of the administration. Our CE has set a very bad example. There is an unauthorized structure at his residence. And when I asked the Director of Buildings what the department would do concerning the unauthorized structure at the CE's residence, he said that he would not comment on an individual case. But then Leung Chun-ying is our CE, so he should have commented, he should have responded. So I want to know whether the Buildings Department has taken any action in the light of complaints. And I want to say that as there are so many complaints, how are government departments going to take enforcement action? Now, Ms. Wong, can I ask you this question? Does the Bureau have the people to take enforcement action? Yes, Ms. Wong, please, PAS. Yes, Chairman. When the bill is passed by LegCo, then FEHD will have more manpower resources to do the licensing work and to take enforcement action. Concerning the buildings department, we do liaise very closely with the department. In fact, the buildings department has been taking enforcement action against the Kick Lock Temple and the other Columbaria referred to by the deputations. Mr. Leung. So, government departments do have performance pledges. Say, for example, if I apply for a public housing unit, I will be able to get a chance to select a flat within 3 years of the submission of the application. So, I want to know whether you do have a performance pledge for those who complain to you. Will you promise to take action within 1 week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks from the receipt of the complaint? And which organization will be the regulatory organization? PAS. Now, the legislation has yet to be passed, and I think the member has really put forward a hypothetical case. Different departments have their different performance pledges. So, can Mr. Leung tell us whether you have cases in mind that require follow-up action? Ms. Wong, you are really an excellent official. Now, you know the problems exist, and when the bill is passed, then you have the responsibility to take action. How come you are saying that these are hypothetical cases? If you start regulating the Columbaria, then there are bound to be more cases. You know, the complainants have sounded have sounded very desperate. So you should be sympathetic. So please do not say that I've put forward a hypothetical scenario. This scenario or these scenarios will arise very soon. So if you say everything is hypothetical, if you say that the URL case is hypothetical, no wonder why C.Y. Leung can continue to be the CE. Now, if you don't have enough resources to take enforcement action, you should come to LegCo for funding. Chairman, I'm willing to communicate with the Bills Committee later so that we can come up with more specific or constructive suggestions. Am I not constructive enough, Chairman? Now, please put on record. I've asked her this question. I've asked her to come for funding. I'm telling her that these problems are existing problems, and action has to be taken when the bill is passed. Mr. Kenneth Chan, I thank the deputations for coming to share with us their difficulties and sufferings. Now, you may come from Tuen Mun, Tai Po, and other districts. You are affected by the operation of these Columbaria. I understand that you are concerned. You know there is Schedule 2. You have been waiting for the administration to take enforcement action, but the administration has been dragging its feet, and you are worried that this bill will only serve to pass the buck to the licensing authority, and there will be very long grace periods for the operators to make changes, and then these operators will go on putting in applications to the town planning board, and you will have to keep on raising objections and attending hearings. So I understand that you want us to make sure that your suffering will no longer continue. And we really hope that the administration will not regard these cases, these problems, as hypothetical cases. We've already told the administration many times what the problems are. I think we are now concerned about how we can resolve these problems. We hope that these complainants will no longer have to come again to air their grievances in front of us. And I think one thing is important. The so-called downstream services. The administration keeps saying that it does educate the public. Now, do you think people do read these advertisements? This government advertisement occupies a quarter of a newspaper page, and there are so many characters. Do you think people will really read the content? And then there are these operators who are extremely eloquent. They can effectively advertise the niches, and they can even make the consumers advertise for them. And so I think we have to also deal with this mechanism. I think concerning the companies, now for example, BVI companies, they are hard to regulate. Now CY Leung has a number of these, but then we can't carry out an investigation under the PNP ordinance because the pro-establishment camp doesn't allow us to do so. We are talking about long-term commitment. We're not talking about a company coming from, say, another established in another place, and then the company is set up, and consumers pay the money to this company, and then the company flies by night, and you won't be able to find it. So can I ask whether the administration is going to do something? Yes, Assistant Director. In Part 5 of the bill, Chairman, we have the details concerning the sale of interment rights. And also, when purchase and sale contracts are signed, there must be proper provisions, and we'll be looking at whether there can be model contracts for the reference of operators and consumers. I want to say that this bill represents a major step forward. Of course, sales agents and intermediaries are not involved in this bill. But then I think we have to do things really step by step and tackle the problem step by step. All right. So we've already heard the deputations in the two sessions, and I think I will now invite the administration to respond. So, who would like to respond? Mr. Wong.
誒，
Chairman, we've heard the views very clearly, and we will prepare a written response shortly after this meeting. And I would like to take this opportunity to emphasize that the purpose of the bill, or one of the most important purposes of the bill is this: we are by no means underestimating the seriousness of the problems. We know that these are long-standing problems. We want to freeze the present situation. We want to freeze the problems, and then we hope that we can tackle these problems in phases. We have to, in future, assess the effectiveness of the three-pronged approach. If we can effectively promote green burials, then that will help lessen the problems that we face. And also, many think that at the moment we are not taking adequate enforcement action, and that's exactly why we need this new piece of legislation. With the new legislation, higher standards will be enforced, and if operators can't meet those standards, they will not be allowed to sell their niches. If they do so, that would be an illegal act.
Now, because there are limitations in the law nowadays, maybe we cannot tackle all these repeated applications and irregular practices. Now, if they are unable to get the license and they keep in operating irregularly, we can enforce the law. Now, there are quite a lot of complicated details in the bill. I hope that we can go over them with members in the future. 26 deputations and individuals have attended the meeting today and expressed their views, and the administration has responded. There is no second round, so you have aired your views. They have been valuable, and members and officials have heard them, and at the next meeting there will be a response. The speaker is not using the mic. Mr. Chair. Please let us follow up. Our meeting has to end at 5:30. I do not know that there is a land department official here, so I only talked about license issue. I'd like to ask the lands department. The lands department has known for 8 years that they have illegally occupied government land. Now, many delegations, many deputations, representatives have raised their hands, so maybe we can let them have 1 minute each. Uh, 1 minute each. How many will wish to speak? Will the secretary please read out the names? Miss Ching, Mr. Hui Chak Wai, Mr. Yam Kwok-tung, Mr. Cheng Wai Hong, Mr. Chung Leung Tong. 1 minute each. Madam Sin. The town planning board is represented here. Now TPB/YST28. Now originally it's Greenbelt. The government is changing it for them to GIC. Is it changing it so that they can scrape through? This is not proper. We don't want to come frequently. Now, the town planning board and the planning department have responsibilities. Now, you should take a look at the matter. Mr. Chair Sai-kit. I'd like to summarize. Hopefully there will be a response. Now on exemptions, we don't agree with the current exemption standards. We want a higher threshold for exemptions. We are also against having both exemption and license available for one Columbarium. Now, also, there is law enforcement that's not being carried out. Now, Asia TV recently exposed a case of false representation, but selling continued. Now, the law enforcement departments should act. We don't have to wait for the bill to be passed. They can act under Trade Description Ordinance, and 60% of the illicit operators have not applied. Now, also, if many of these should not be allowed to apply. Now, when they withdrew, they should not be allowed to reapply. Next, Mr. Hui Chak Wai. I'd like to ask the Lands Department officials. You know about Kowloon Temple, the illegally occupied government land for 8 years. We've had over 10 meetings with the Land Department. We will have a department soon. We agree to one meeting every 2 weeks. Now, when are you going to resume or recover the land? There's a fine of $40,000. We're going to have a meeting with you on Thursdays. Now, it's no use having a meeting every 3 months. When are you going to recover, to demolish the structure? Now, give us a timetable, maybe 6 months or 1 year. Yam Kwok-tung. Now, many of the representatives live near illicit Columbaria. Now, I don't want there to be more complaints in the future. The bill doesn't cover the operators downstream. Now, otherwise, you will see people who sign these contracts in the future, and they will lose money and they come and complain. We don't want to see that. Now, when you sell residential units, you have laws regulating the sales agents. You can apply the same law to people who sell these niches. Now let's take Kowloon Temple for example. Now I'd like to ask Buildings Department. Now they have a illegal structure there, but the structure has not been demolished. After a long delay. Now, when will this main temple structure be demolished? We have the plan. When will you restore the main temple to its original form? I'd like to ask a follow-up question. Now, we don't know when the scrutiny of the bill will be completed. Now, the transition period is worrying. Now, I don't know where the administration inspected the sites. Now, the pre-1990 is one category, another category after June 18th. Now, do you do something like the land department used to do? That is, you inspected the structures and conducted surveys and registered the structures. Otherwise, nobody would know in later. So will you have an interdepartment task force to do the inspections and to do the education? Perhaps the administration can give an omnibus response in 5 minutes. Now, I will speak first, and other departments can supplement. Now, under the notification scheme, please speak into the mic. We have received 139 forms. Now we try to learn how many niches have been interred, now how many have been sold, but the ashes have not been interred. So we have this information. Once we verify. Now, and we will try to get more data to confirm. Now, secondly, concerning trade description ordinance, I thank Mr. Chair for his view. Now, on 30th of June and thereafter, and in our recent answer to LegCo questions, we already made clear the provisions and the penalties, and if members of the public suspect that there is infringement of trade description of ordinance, they can complain to customs, who will then take action. Now, information can be laid to the customs. Now, also, it's been mentioned about undertakers. Now, as Mr. Yam himself learned, now during this period, also the undertakers are not regulated under the bill, but according to Cap 132, the undertakers have to get a license for undertakers. Now, and after December 2008, the undertakers who are approved will not be able to take ashes into their storage, and the process is still ongoing concerning how many niches can they operate. Now, on business assessment, a copy of the information has been supplied and put online. Now, the operators have to conduct examination and let professionals verify that, and that can be used to meet the requirements. Now, in the provisions of the bill, it's mentioned that if the operators have voluntary maintenance funds, they can so inform the consumers, and the consumers should be more confident in the operators who have maintenance funds, and this will be good for both sides. And we, under the provisions, we ask them to state that to the public if concerning whether they have maintenance funds. Buildings Department or Planning Department, any response? Thank you, Chairman. Now, concerning speakers' points about planning, now under Town Planning Ordinance, currently, if there's an planning application, it's true that we cannot limit the number of times they submit these applications, but every time they apply, the Town Planning Board asks the relevant departments for their comments regarding these applications, and these comments are carefully given. And in areas where we have regulatory powers, now the law enforcement authorities will take action where this is available, where such powers are available, and we do have successful cases of prosecution of illicit operators. Concerning King Lok Temple, the Land Use Department, as you are well aware, we've conducted several prosecutions. The number of niches has been substantially reduced. Now, we have seen the reduction, and we will wait for the King Lok Temple to arrange with the purchasers of niches to recover the ashes before we get back the land. Now, the government has provided some response, and in addition, the Deputy Secretary has also indicated that they will provide a written response to members, and members will certainly follow up. So I thank the deputations and individuals for attending the meeting today, this public hearing. We thank you for your valuable comments. They should allow us to examine the clauses carefully. They are very good reference. There's no AOB. The next meeting will be 25th of November, 2:30 p.m. Tuesday. So the meeting is concluded. Thank you.